Hello, and welcome to another art session. Who's this handsome fellow, I thought I'd give a little peek. Just a tease so that you could see what my next upgrade will look like. Still need to clean up bits in there, here and there, obviously. Obviously there's things like these spots. Oops, nope. Like these spots here. Lips are a little bit still messy. So stuff like that I just need to clean up. So, but yeah. It's pretty exciting. So, one second. I just gotta do. Here we go. Okie dokie. So, yeah, I hope everyone's had a good week. I'm gonna just get to, now that I've got, let's get back to work on these guys. Play around with these character concepts for a little bit, and then I'll do some more random characters afterwards, because I do. I like drag these guys, they're fun. I got the Free Ren song stuck in my head. Such a good anime. It's hello. Thanks for dropping by. I'm just kidding. Did you see? Here's a little tease for my new model. I mean, I think I've shown you this, but I was working on the teeth. I've been trying to clean them up and make them look all nice and shiny. Look at that smile. I'm a shark. Yeah. Yeah, I think I still want to clean up some other things on him too, because like the eye I might clean up a little bit more. And the ears are still neat. Like the line work on the ears could use a little bit of sprucing up. It's funny how you don't notice this stuff until you think about the fact that this is going to be like front and center, and it made me really just think about I might have times where he's really zoomed in like that, and I want to make sure every line is where it should be. And a friend of mine was telling me that it's possible. She told me you could edit them. You can edit them and update your models in Live 2D, because the annoying thing that I've been dealing with is that every time I update it, I have to remake the character, and I hate that. It's horrible. It's not fun having to be like, oh, I'm gonna do every part of the rigging all over again, and it's like, no, I don't want to. Nay, nay, I say. I promised. to remind our buddy that that I'm streaming. Miss Blue, I gotta remind Blue that I'm streaming. Just make sure. There we go. Wasn't sure if you told her, but I wanted to make sure I sent her an invite too, because I put up a message on her page, but still want to make sure. But I don't know if you were here. I was gonna say, like, I'm gonna start this stream by playing around with these characters and just having some fun with them, just as a warm up, and then I'm gonna move into maybe I'm tempted to, well, there's one thing I want to do beforehand, so let's just. I got all these poses here in the. What's this? What is she? What is it? Oh, okay, I see. Huh. Neat. Bum bum bada bum bum. Sorry, you just gotta find a good pose. Good pose. Do 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 do. Boop boop. I have an idea. I'm gonna do this. I did a drawing during lunch of these two characters. So I'll start with that. I'm gonna put a, you know, like in kung fu movies when they have they have a naginata or something, and they put that weighted bag on it so that it doesn't actually cut. I'm gonna do that for this character, where when he spars with his friend, he doesn't want to hurt him, so he puts this over it. Do, 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 do. Hello, thanks for dropping in. Just working on some D&D characters. It's gonna be real fun. Here's whoops, that's my. He's in scary mode now. This is a teaser for my character. I'm gonna give him back his lips. This is the teaser I have for my upcoming VTuber model. Look at that handsome mug. This is who I'm drawing right now. These two guys are gonna. This guy and this guy are gonna be duking it out. Fight, 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 fight. Oh, Eve, did I tell you I saw confirmation that they're actually going to make a Avatar: The Last Airbender a new season of it is being made by the creators of the old show. So I'm really excited. I mean, I'm sure it won't be out till like 2028 or something, but still, it's fun to know that something like that's being made, even. Because, I mean, the movies haven't even been really announced yet, so that's why I'm saying, like, it's unlikely to happen anytime soon. Yeah, um, it's still what I kind of described before with the I don't want to spoil too much. If people don't want to know, all I'll say for this is that if you want to look it up, cool. But the essentially the most like simplistic way of describing what it is that it's man versus nature is what they're gonna do for the next one. If anyone wants to look further past that, I think I wouldn't recommend Cartoon Brew, but I know a couple. I'm sure there's a couple places that have something by now. Yeah, it just got so cold all of a sudden. Cold wind blew through here. But honestly, I'm just excited to I really want to just hear about these movies more than anything, because like those are coming out more. Those are coming up sooner, so I'm more curious about those. Like, especially since they're starting with the one with the Last Airbender team. So that's gonna more Sokka, more Sokka, more Sokka. Yeah, woo! Yeah, it's a really cool world, and I'm excited to see more about like the wildlife and the just the world itself is just so exciting that I can't wait to see more about like what they're gonna do with it. Even in these other movies, like seeing a world that like is just recovering from the scars of war with the Avatar, the Last Airbender team, like, and having a bunch of like, I think they're gonna be in. I don't know how big of a time jump they're doing, but I think from what I heard, they're in their 30s or something like that. I think because he. I mean, if you've seen Korra, you know. Oh no, when did he? I forget when he passed. Do you remember, Evie? I can't remember. I think it was like he was. I think he was of old age, wasn't it? Or did he? I forget. Did something happen to him? I thought that. For some reason, part of me is thinking there was something that happened, but then there's another part of me that thinks it was just old age. So I can't remember which. Right? They didn't. Like, I know that he, one thing that excites me about this whole, like, next season of Avatar is that, like, the way they're phrasing it, it sounds like maybe Korra accidentally, like, led to this new era, which, as someone who loves, like, I mean, so many like good stories are based around that. Like, it's so typical to be like, oh, of course they're gonna blame her for it, but from a story perspective, that's so much fun to be like, you tried your hardest, and even with your best intentions, everything went wrong. It's like, it's such a interesting story mechanic to try out, and it's been happening to her all the time, so it's not like it's anything new with her. So, like, every time she tries, things just always go horrible. And it's not her fault ever. It's just that, like, the world changes. I mean, some of it was her fault. Like, season 1, I'd say bits of that could have been prevented if she had been. But she was a young Avatar, so she was young and just arrogant, like anyone would be if they were led to believe they were this amazing person, and then left to their own devices on a like, without exploring the world. Which, I mean, they explain later, but I still say they should have, like, let her go after they captured them. So I thought that was kind of a flimsy argument. It's like, yeah, we don't want the Red Lotus getting her, and it's like, but guys, they're in jail. Let her go explore the world like she's supposed to. Otherwise, she's going to be a very arrogant and narrow-minded person. Oops. Too late. Sorry. We took too long to decide, and it happened anyway. I still, don't get me wrong, I think some fans are too hard on her. I think she is a well-written character. It's just hard to compare Team Avatar from Last Airbender to Team Avatar from that, because their age group is totally different. Like, the joke with Last Airbender is it's all old people and kids. So there's like, I think there's maybe like 8 people that aren't in that age, in those age groups. Like the couple that have a child is probably the biggest characters that aren't like aren't elderly or children in the Last Airbender. because everything else is just like really minor characters that don't matter, like the pirates. I mean, they mattered in the first season, but that's it. They disappeared after that. I am curious to see how these this new character or characters are going to be portrayed with the world being the main character, being the main villain. Like, I wonder what kind of person is gonna. I mean, I've heard rumors of what they're like, but I don't want to listen to that yet because it's still early in development, so that could change. Because from what I've heard right now, it sounds like they want to make it a pair of like twins, like and I don't know what that means necessarily because supposedly they're both the Avatar, which is weird because we've seen twins in the Avatar universe where like one doesn't have abilities and the other one does. So I guess this is a different case. Like I guess in this case it like. What I'm wondering, and what would be, I think we talked about this, where it'd be cool if the powers were distributed between them, so they had to work together. Like it would, because it sounds like one of them wants to be the Avatar, and the other one wants to just like pursue their just passion, which has nothing to do with being the Avatar. But if each of them has like a yeah, if each of them has like a piece of the elements, they don't have a choice, which would make it an interesting part of the story that like the one that doesn't want to fight has to protect their sibling. It would just be good to see that studio do what they like to do, because I don't know if they really enjoy. I mean, who am I to like? It just didn't seem. Maybe it's just me looking into the work itself and not listening to the interviews, but it just didn't feel like they enjoyed doing Voltron at all. Like if you look, I mean, there were parts of the animation of Voltron that looked great, but I don't know. It just felt like, or especially like when their team, I think got like cut down when they did Dragon Prince. Like, I wish they had the animation budget that they had for like Voltron for Dragon Prince. Like, even if they had to like reuse animations, like they did with Voltron, I still would have thought that was just, it would have looked way better. Because I love, the thing that kills me is I love the characters in Dragon Prince. Like, the brother and sister are the gosh, I can't remember his name, and I have the art book, but anyway, he was like the advisor. He was the friend of the king, and like his kids are, both of them are really fun characters. Like how the daughter is just like a total goofball and like constant, and has a very interesting like descent into a dark arc. And the son has kind of a more like trying to be a good son and a good soldier, but like sees where his father's heading and is really scared for his sister, which I really liked. That he stood by her as long as he. I didn't get far into the newer seasons, but he really stood by her as long as he could. It felt like he really didn't want to leave her, even when she started to show darker tendencies. He's like, he still saw the good in her. I mean, she pretty much saved his life. So earlier on, she did seem like she was a good person, and then she kind of just got pulled into her dad's magic. Which is a shame with him. He's such a good villain too, because like at the end of the day, he's doing what he feels will save humans. Like he sees us as like an endangered race. Like the elves hate humans and are gonna just like wipe us out in that world, and the dragons want to destroy humans too, and they're very powerful. So I can see people like him and the person who first made dark magic in that world, what their argument was, where they pretty much said, you guys treat us like cattle. It's like you, and then you pretend to get angry when we use this magic that you call forbidden because it feeds off your kind's life. And it's like, well, yeah, because you feed off us. What did you think was going to happen? You can only push someone so far. So it's hard. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still very dark and creepy, but it's totally understandable reaction. Let's do some poses. Trying to find. Well, it's such a shame that they definitively said that Jet was taken out. Because it would be so cool for him to reappear in the movie as like, surprise, I didn't die. And now I'm like the red hood from Batman, where I'm just like this like vigilante that doesn't show his face. That would be so cool if he's just like he's secretly fighting against like a political like enemies of or like, what's the word I'm thinking of, like essentially kind of like it'd be cool if he did things like took out like secret like groups of people that were trying to like restart the Fire Nation, essentially, like the bad side, like essentially like all the corrupt generals and people from the past who were pro-imperialist fascist government like it was. It'd be so cool to see like him and the freedom fighters older. I mean, Smellerbee could maybe just become a really cool character, actually, if they... Yeah, let's give these guys some anime poses. Here's the Gurren Lagann one. I'll just do this for this guy. I just would be excited to see their future because I always like to see creative uses of people who aren't benders in that world, and they would be such a cool group to like show older. Like even without Jet. I mean, don't get me. It would just be fun, surprise that they were like, "Oh yeah, we did actually save him." It was like, it's like we found this random person in town that could heal him. It's like we forgot to tell you though. Sorry about that. You look pretty busy with other things. Having a reappearance of Azula would be so cool. I mean, in the comics, she did redeem herself, so. I still need to read that comic, though. I keep forgetting to look for it. I decided this guy is actually... I did more drawings of this guy, and I think he looks cooler with the, like, long sleeves, actually. Like the old Kung Fu kind of TV show. Just give him like that. And I mean, I hope they can get... I think they got all the cast, actually. I'll have to double check on that. But all the main voice actors... I mean, they've been doing the con circuits for a while, and considering the creators of the show are involved in it, they must be involved. I'll have to double check the cast, but I'm pretty sure it's the same voice actor for Aang, it's the same voice actor for all of them, I think. Because he's of the age of the character finally again. Because they're going to age up the character, so he can go back to doing the voice. And I really like that for the original show, that like as time passed in the show, like since the show took like it took like I think like what, like 8 years or something to make, like his voice changed drastically from the it wasn't 8, I think it was 5 or something like that, but still his voice, he was going through puberty by the third book, so Aang's voice changed drastically, which fit the character changing emotionally, because he's hitting the gravity of everything that he has to do is finally hitting him. And I think seeing more of Korra, now that she's a more balanced character, like her arc finally hit a point where she was like, by the third season, she finally was starting to act more like in control in a way. Like, I mean, she was dealt a rough hand in the third season with that trauma, and then the fourth, she even got further like trauma with like realizing that the world doesn't even want her. So, but now it will be interesting seeing like her come back from the spirit world with Asami, and like just being around someone who believes in her and seeing like what that does to her as a character. Also, poor Mako. Can we please give Mako like more to do? My boy just he the poor guy. He went from like failed love interest to just no personality at all. It's like, oh, buddy. To quote Dante Bosco as Zuko, that's rough, buddy. Yeah, they dealt him dirty. I mean, to be fair, it's not his show, so, but still, like, there's no equivalent to the original Airbender team that would fit him or Bolin, really, I guess. So, because Bolin was kind of dealt dirty in a way because like everyone kept comparing him to Sokka, and he's very different from Sokka. He's nowhere near as smart. For one thing, he's not a leader either. So I don't know why people were comparing the two. He's really the more naive of the like person of the group that just has a good heart. So he's almost like the Aang, actually. Although it was crazy how much, like, it was so much harder to watch parts of Korra just because of how rough how much darker it got. And not even in, like, the literal, like scene, like, I mean, both, actually. I was going to say not just because of the fights, but because of, like, things they just had to deal with. They're dealing with much more dire situations. Funny, I was listening to someone do a review of Freeren today while I was at work, and I was so disappointed and almost appalled when I heard that one of them watched the show at 2.5 times, or at like 1.5 times speed. I'm like, if you do, and fortunately the other guy even pointed it out because he was a little older, and he's like, he's just like, you can't watch these kind of shows that way. He's like, the whole point of shows like Freeren is that it's slow because that's part of the story. It's that you're seeing everyone else's point of view of time except for hers. Like if the show is but from her point of view, then yeah, a lot of that would probably be really quick. Because she's always just like, oh yeah, 2 years isn't a big deal. And everyone else is like, yeah, it is. Stop trying to slow us down. Oh, and the reason I did the tail, I'm doing the tail pattern this way is kind of thinking of like a rug design, almost like a. I don't know if where I'm specifically thinking this is from, but like, just kind of like a rug design from like maybe kind of inspired by Aztec or from something or an older culture like that, or I don't know. It just kind of came to me as a fun idea for a pattern on a lizard because of like how Gila monsters have that, and there's a couple different other lizards that have really cool patterns. So I really wanted to give this guy something cool. This is, yeah, this is my Hero Academia version of him. I can't wait for the next season of that show to come out. I want to see how that All Might fight ends. I guess I just saw on Facebook today, or on, was it Facebook? I forget. Gosh, I don't want to say it's on Facebook because then people are going to think that there's anything of value on there. But I saw a post that said that Free Ren's going to come back in next year, which is honestly sooner than I expected. So that's not bad. Like I'd be excited to see it even that soon. Because I've been rewatching like the first the first two seasons, or the first season that's yeah. Like Stark and Fern are just such a fun duo. Like whenever they're in the same room, it's just like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And I hope that priest guy comes back. He was really funny, too. I'm sure he will, because he's... Same with, the monk. Oh, that guy's so cool. He has to come back. I'm sure they're going to run into him. He even said that they're going to run into each other again, so... I'm sure they will. When they go to the when they get closer to the Demon King's castle, because he's probably heading in the same direction. So Hope everyone's having a great Friday. It's always fun drawing these characters. I'm gonna work on this other guy now, too. This guy. This one needs a little bit. Well, I mean, it's okay. It just could use some more clean up. I think it's a cool idea, but I think when I was drawing it, I didn't know that there was actually a dinosaur race in D&D. So like this is totally legitimate. So I'm gonna have more fun with it now that I know that it's actually like something you can actually have in the campaign, and like, I mean, it exists in the world, so like I can play around with it. And plus I kind of realized that like when I was drawing it, I was like basing it partly off of Final Fantasy character class, but I found out that like technically that class is just fighter from D&D. So the Dragoon class is pretty much just fighter, but let's see. I wonder if I can just write in anime poses and see if I get it. Excuse me, sorry. It's unfortunately just this isn't gonna help me. Darn. Okay, let's go back to this. And there could just be like this kind of like a more chill. For him, I could do the opposite, where I just draw him in a more like relaxed, kind of like seated pose, kind of. Although, to be fair, he's a dinosaur, so his legs would be different than this. Maybe more like, my brain, I broke my brain. What have I done? This guy's just fun because he's like a bigger exaggeration of like Richard. Or I can just exaggerate the torso even more so. Kind of like Beast from Beauty and the Beast kind of thing, where he's kind of like just such a huge, bulky character, and like since he's fantasy, there's no rules. He's got this like monster tooth at the end of his spear. And I guess this. I mean, I was perfectly happy with even like a Stegosaurus kind of like face to this guy, but apparently these guys actually do have like are based around Tyrannosaurus Rex. So let me see if I can find actually some reference for actually like a more modern version of a T-Rex. Because a lot of these are the old version. Here it is. Yeah. Where... Because, like, a lot of the versions that people are more familiar with don't include the fact that they have lips. Because, which happened because a lot of in early paleontology they kind of did this thing called shrink wrapping. I think I've talked about this before, but it's always fun to talk about, where they essentially just take the bones and then just kind of like build off of that, and they kind of forget that things have fat deposits on them. So that kind of changes, like, how anything would look. Plus, they kind of found more parts of the skeleton later on, too. So it's not even like you can really blame them. It's they didn't have a full picture. So, yeah. Like, T-Rex turned out to be much bigger and like wider than they thought originally, which is kind of why, even though it's not the fastest theropod out there, it's still like the king. Even though there were bigger ones like Gigantosaurus, I believe they didn't need their teeth to be as strong. I mean, their jaws to be as powerful. Whereas the T-Rex was taking on just much different prey. It's so fun seeing like what people like. Artist renditions are always so fun to like see how people think they looked. Because like old versions of them make them look like they didn't, since they don't have lips, they look just like a nightmare. But the more you think about it, you're like, yeah, how would they like... That doesn't... No animal would ever want that. Like, only sea creatures can, in some cases, are okay with that. And usually that's only like deep sea creatures. Like the anglerfish. Where they can have like just a maw that's just full of teeth. Yeah, playing a guy like this in D&D would be really fun though. I'm trying to think what kind of armor he should be wearing, though, is the question. Because I didn't really give him armor in the last one. He kind of was just a barbarian kind of build, so... Hello, thanks for dropping in! Just drawing some D&D characters. This is a character I kind of just thought up. That's based around a T-Rex. So I'm looking at some reference right now of T-Rexes and making a more modern kind of like what we've learned about T-Rex in the last like 10 years. Maybe giving it like a cool pattern to it, like, you know how like the what are they, the half giants in D&D have like the war paint and stuff. Maybe give it like a cool like just almost a camouflage like skin tone, where it's like blue, like maybe different shades of like muted green and blue or something like that. Would be kind of cool. But yeah, if you see any animals now with that shrink wrap done to them, it it would change any animal significantly. Like I've seen like them pull the same thing with like hippos, and they look like totally different animals when you just render them based on on their skeleton without adding in any like muscle. Wait a minute, I'm doing this totally wrong. It's because that's too big. I mean, sorry, trying to figure this. I can do this. I can do it. I think. Although I suppose the thing that would make this guy more unique than a T-Rex is that, like, since he's humanoid, he can run a lot faster and jump like incredibly high because magic. do 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 do. Trying to find some cool armor for this guy. What should we do for armor? Ooh. What did I do last time? I think I just gave him spikes, honestly. It just like he's a hybrid of a couple different types of dinosaurs. Mostly T-Rex, but I'm going to put some other things in him in this design as well, just for fun. Because why not? I mean, he's already the thing's already part humanoid. There are no rules. giving it like a feather kind of just around the head, kind of like, and then maybe it just gets lighter as it goes down, kind of, with some spikes poking out from it. Or plates. I thought with him too, it'd be kind of cool to make like the tail a little bit thicker. Like the lizard, it makes more sense to have a thin tail, but with him, I was going to make it a thick. And I was going to put a... like, yeah, spike at the end. Like an ankylosaurus kind of thing going on. But like a more angled version of that. Let's clean this one up, actually, because this is a cool idea, but I just need to... I kind of want to make this... These two fighting is cool, but I want this to be a better drawing. Because now I have a better version of this character, so let's redraw this guy. I think just like a... I'm gonna let him... he's gonna defiantly just take the blow to the face. Just like, yeah, it's like, bring it. Like, since it's his friend, he's not even gonna try and bite him. He's just gonna be like, okay, you think you can hurt me, huh? Can't move me. I forgot he had the war helmet on with the feathers in it. Still gonna make it so he's not trying to hurt, severely injure his friend. So he has the tip of the spear wrapped, so it's not gonna cut or inflict any of the actual damage that that spear can do. So. I'm gonna make it more of a delayed, like he's warming up for, he's getting ready for an attack instead of like in the other one where he should already kicked him. So. Yeah, see, this guy's tail is going to be much longer. Because it can be, because it's like... I'm going to put, like, slashes in it and stuff, and I was going to have it so the entire end of the tail was regrown. So, yeah. But they're both having a blast right now. They're not... Neither of them are really trying to severely hurt the other. They're just having a fun sparring session. Excuse me. Right, let me... My brain's kind of broke. I think I... Where's his other leg? I think it would be up here, maybe? Because his other arm is up here. Like, he's getting ready to just give his friend a nice bonk in the face. Just like, he does have some energy on to his attacks, but he knows that this guy is like punching a tank. Like, because I mean, part barbarian kind of build, so this guy is like barbarian fighter. Does not really feel this at all. And yes, this other guy is very much inspired by the lizard from Spider-Man. So I forgot that he has that mohawk. I'm just trying to play around with like how this loose fabric would behave when he's like pushing himself away. I assume probably more like that. So let's just change this a little bit so he's more coming down and looking at him. Give him much more of a lizard head so that it's very clear there's a difference between them. I'm going to just extend this hand out a little bit more so it's actually fully just resting on the weapon. kind of like he's just jumped in. Because before I was going to make it so he was like using his energy to push himself off of the weapon. Like a Sun Jin Woo kind of thing. But... Oh, no problem. Yeah, it's just working on like designing, redesigning this guy is more of with more of the T-Rex influence in him, but going to like more modern versions of T-Rex, where it's got it actually has lips. So, and then I'm redoing this one again because I want to I just want this to look more fierce. Like I wanted to put more impact between these two in their fight, even though this is clearly a fight. It's just a sparring match, but I want to make it feel more energetic. He's got this like knight's helmet on with like spikes on it. I think I'm gonna give him back his armor actually. His armor was like, at least the pauldrons were pretty cool. So giving him those, and then maybe like a small plate that's just covering his like the top of his chest. And the rest could maybe he's got like an under armor that's more like a leather, just so he can, because otherwise he's too big for most like regular clothing. I closed that window, didn't I? Did I? Let me check. Yeah, I did. Darn. Oh well. I had the wait. No, I don't. Dino Rain, they're called. Wait, what? They live in tribes and forests, not seen in by civilizations, considered a myth. Huh. No, that's cool. I figured. Thanks for. I'm glad you could. I'm just glad you can make it. I just wanted to make. Yeah, I wanted to make sure you knew that it was going up. I was streaming. But yeah, working on these guys. Because I think up until recently, like, T-Rexes have theropods in general have been seen as villains, with the exception of Moon Girl, like with Devil Dinosaur, which I mean he's called Devil Dinosaur, so. But it's more just a name to make him sound like intimidating, really, more than anything else. He's a good boy. I'd say I'm surprised he's not in Rivals, but he's too big. That would be like a little OP playing as the T-Rex. Or is he a Carn? You know, it depends on the artist that's drawing him, because I was going to say, is he a T-Rex or is he a Carnotaurus? And I think he's supposed to be a T-Rex, I believe. But some people draw him with horns, like a devil, and I mean, guys, that's a Carnotaurus, and they're smaller. They're fast. They're way faster than T-Rexes, but it's because they're smaller and are more built for speed. T-Rexes are big, like they're like carnivorous elephants. they're huge. Because I had someone say that they were only as big as elephants, and I'm like, yeah, but elephants don't. Elephants aren't naturally carnivores, so that's scary. Something that big. Plus the fact that that's the bones we found complete, so they could have been bigger too. Kind of the same thing with like sharks and other carnivores, where like we find certain skeletons and we base things off that, but that's not always the maximum size. It's kind of like with crocodiles, where it's like without any predators they could get really big. Problem is we're a pretty good predator of them. Like far more than any other species on the planet. We are much more dangerous to crocodiles than anything else. This guy kind of reminds me of Gex from that old game. It's the new upgraded version of Gex. God, that game was so old. Yeah, I kind of wanted to watch more of Moon Girl, but I can't like justify paying all the money for to Disney right now. Like, I don't want to give them money just for one cartoon. Also, I mean, I think I've said this before. I liked the show. My only critique of it is, well, what it is. It's a kids show. It's very formulaic. It's very like lesson of the week, which is fine. I mean, maybe it changed since I seen it last, but back when I watched it, it was very like lesson of the week. She would sing a song and beat the villain, and I'm like, hey, this is fun. It makes me smile, but I kind of want something that's a little bit more, like, unpredictable. Like the first few episodes were great because it was kind of like all over the place and crazy, and then it kind of became like Monster of the Week, and I was like, you know, it's good to have a show for that, like kids can watch and enjoy a Marvel story. I'm happy to see, because like my nieces liked Spider-Man, and back then they didn't. They finally made one for kids for that, which is great because kids should be allowed to enjoy that stuff too. But just not for me now. There's so much to watch. I'm not too upset that that it's aimed at kids. It's like, I got plenty of other shows I can watch. For the rare moments that I find time. I'm rewatching Freerun, and then I'll probably put Mushishi on in the background while I draw, because that's a great one to just have on the background. It's some episodes are pretty dark, but it's overall a pretty somber kind of show. It's just like Spirit of the Week kind of, like he deals with different spirits, and I like that show. It was good. Did you ever see that, Evie? I definitely recommend it if you haven't. That's a fun one. My only like maybe negative remark on that show is that like it makes you fall asleep, but not because it's boring, but because maybe for me it makes me fall asleep because it was on Cartoon Network on their late night. So like I would be hanging out with my friend, and like when I was about to head home, that song would come on, and I would just be like, I'm really tired all of a sudden. And we would look up at the clock and it's like 1 a.m. It's the one where the guy with the white hair and the one eye, and he because he lost his other eye to a spirit, and the story is that he might actually disappear one day because of the spirit he looked at. But he's like essentially going from town to town because he can't stay in one spot because of the fact that he's so like oversaturated with this spiritual energy that he like attracts every kind of mushi, which are they're like spirits. I think they're kind of like, if you combine spirits with like microorganisms, essentially they're like the closest delineation between like life and energy. They're basically mitochondria that just take form, pretty much. I think is the most scientific way to describe them. Where they look like sea creatures sometimes, but sometimes they can they can resemble a person, or they can do things like that are just things that have shown up that spirits do in Japanese folklore. Like there's one that can like dangle a thread from the sky and just pull people up into clouds. Or they pretend to be someone so that they can like lure them onto a boat, and then that person's just trapped forever. Kind of like a fairy, kind of. It's really good. I definitely recommend it. There's 2 seasons and a movie. And for being... I mean, it does have action moments in it, but it's kind of... I would say it's kind of like Kino's Journey, is how I would describe it. It's like Kino's Journey, but like more like solid theme of like always dealing with spirits. Whereas Kino's Journey was like every town was different. In this, he's always dealing with an issue with humans and the Mushi um, being pushed into living near each other, and he's trying to like not even like he doesn't like ghost. He doesn't fight them all the time. Usually, he either like just I mean, they're like wild animals, so a lot of the times he just like finds a way to like make them go away, or some of them are parasitic, so he'll just like get rid of them, get them out of the person safely. So, yeah. Sometimes it gets darker than that, but usually it's. And some of them aren't bad at all. And then there's the ones that are like living tunnels that you get trapped in forever. And you relive your life again and again and again and again. So it really is episode to episode. Like, you never know what you're going to get. So I'm just saying, be ready for episodes that are creepier than others. Yeah, it's an older show. It came out like in like I think 2010, or maybe no later than that. I think it was like 2014 or 2015 is when it came out, I think. So it's fairly old now. Maybe there's like the armor turns into these like stegosaurus scales on the ends. Same with the back armor. It has like a stegosaurus kind of theme to it in the back. One that I never really finished that I would like to go back to someday is Ghost in the Shell Standalone Crisis. I never finished that, and it's one of those shows that it's always in my queue, and I just never get around to. Yeah, no, it's an old show. I don't blame you for not remembering. It's I imagine these both these guys are just incredibly fast. Did I? Jesus. I always find random scrapes on myself. It's like, did I nick myself with something at work? Oh no. Oh well. That was pretty cool. I'm gonna do a new character. I'll be right back. I need to get some water. Ah! Sorry. Almost spilled it. Okay. Yeah. How are we doing? Only an hour and a half in, so it's a Friday. Let's have fun. Make a new character. Okay. Character generator, where are you? Where are you? Ooh, okay. A hawk character. Let's see. So that one race that's called Arakokra. I'm probably butchering that, but that's how it looks. Arakokra. Yeah. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, whoops. Oh, don't you dare. One second. Something like this, maybe. Figure skaters are always great for like really dynamic poses. So I'm gonna, yeah. Especially for something that's like, I'm gonna go, they kind of went more, Let's see. Now I just need some. What kind of bird of prey should we use? Because they have. I think it's supposed to be hawks, but it could be other things too. I think. So. I'm gonna make it a peregrine falcon actually, because. They're fast. I can't spell. There we go. Are there size differences for them between males and females? I don't think so. I don't think for raptors it's really that big of a difference. I could be wrong. But man. They got a picture here of a stealth bomber and then a peregrine falcon, both in a dive from the side view, and it's almost identical kind of shape. They make the same kind of shape when they fold their wings in and just become like a missile heading down towards their prey, which they're gonna just Falco punch. And if you've seen like footage of like how fast they hit something, you should. It's just crazy. Like I've seen this footage of one hitting a duck, and it's just like, wait, what? What just happened? You just suddenly see the duck on its side, and you're like, oh wow, that was fast. This one looks cool too, though. What's this? This one's got like a plume on its head, so I might use this one actually. Oops, it doesn't have a bigger version. Ooh, what if I did that instead, actually, because it's a fighter, a secretary bird. Yeah! Secretary bird! Like from, what's that show called? With the red panda. Shoot, my brain's not working right now. I can't remember. It's gonna come to me in a second. It's been so long since I've seen that show. The one with the red panda where she does death metal whenever she gets angry. It's like Aka. I forget. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It just my brain's just not remembering the name of it. But it. Oh my gosh, it's like just like hazy in my brain, but it's I mean, they have wings, but that doesn't mean they need. Just because she has wings doesn't mean she has to have them out right now. Let's see. Agretzico. That's what it was. My brain was not going to stop until I got that on my head. That was a good show. I'm going to give her something different, because they have her using a spear, but I've been drawing enough spears for a while. I want to give her something cool, like, maybe hook swords? Would be kind of cool. Or, yeah, something different. Probably because we were just talking about Jet, I want to draw hook swords. Plus, I mean, they're... Secretary birds are just really known for, like, really fast, powerful swings, so imagine that would be pretty useful with those. That or, Tonfa even would be kind of cool, or, I don't know, there's a couple different weapons. This isn't really working. It's not in this form. Let's try it again. Center it more. Let's see. You know what? A fencer actually would be kind of cool for her. Why don't we do that? I haven't drawn anyone using a rapier, so... Of course, no one's holding it. Oh, here we go. Fencing pose. Yeah, here's a cool one. I'm gonna exaggerate it a lot, but... This is just a very rough version first, and then I'm gonna clean it up when I get it. The big difference between these and the Kenku is that they actually have hands that are separate from their wings. So technically they have 4 hands. I mean 4 arms. I think another, along with bows, I think rapiers are another weapon that like have been pointed out as being light for some reason in movies, which is just totally false. They're just as heavy as any sword of their size, like any long sword. They weigh just as much as those. So it's really weird that movies are like, yeah, you know, they're just like a light thing for like a small character to use. It's like, no, they'd have a hard time lifting it just like they would with a regular sword. It's still a sword, guys. It may be more ornate, but it's still, at the end of the day, a sword. That's why I never I think I always thought that in fighting games like Soul Calibur, you got kind of like gypped if you played as and there's that it was such a shame that you got to, when you play as was it Ruff? I forget his name. I think it was Raphael, or I forget. But he used a rapier, and he would chip away at people's health, and it's like, guys, he should be just as strong as Musashi. Like, they have this. He's got the equivalent of a samurai sword. It's just a different part of the world that it's made. That's the only difference. In fact, it's made on, like, with the exception of reproductions, it's actually sharper and harder, because earlier versions of samurai swords were said to be made out of like lesser metals before they started to make them out of harder stuff later on. See, I'm gonna change it so she's got kind of more. You know what she's gonna be like? She's gonna be like a soul. She's gonna be like a Dark Souls boss. I'm gonna make her kind of like that knight, where she's got a long dagger and where she's got a dagger and a rapier, and she's gonna be like kind of like doing the my least favorite boss in Dark Souls 3. She's doing the Abyssal Watchers move. I hate the Abyssal Watchers. They were the worst. Least cooperative group of people, yet they were so dangerous. Why did I have to die? I got beaten so many times. Or it'd be kind of cool if she had like a. She's kind of like the bird version of that one character from Final Fantasy IX. I already forgot her name, but she's the mouse girl. That's like the dragoon. This would be like the bird equivalent of that. Yeah. or like a dark-winged duck villain. All of a sudden, the hat kind of went there. I'm like, wait, what? Am I drawing? Am I drawing like Dark Souls Darkwing? Darkwing Dane. Don't cancel me, please. Maybe she's got like everything about her's like that style. Yeah, the poofy pants and let's let her legs go. Maybe even actually she's got like one leg, even though she's thinking that she's since she's a kicker, since she's a secretary bird, one leg's up actually, kind of like getting ready to kick. You gotta see how strong they have, like a scary fast kick. Like you see them taking on snakes and they just like destroy snakes. Like they're just like, yeah, we're kind of like, we didn't get rid of our dinosaur DNA and we're just gonna wreck these reptiles with our ancient kung fu. Smooth that foot in. I'm not gonna even delete it because why bother? I just mean redrawing it, and that's not fun. It's more fun to just be like, boop, like that. Now she's now she's a little more balanced because a little tip: if you take where their clavicle is, and you aim down. Straight down is where their gravity should be strong, like right here. So she's kind of going like this with her body. Made her wings a little bit bigger, but that's only because it's more fun. Just give her a little bit more oomph to her lift. The secretary birds don't have nearly as big wings, but who cares? She's got her Carmen Sandiego hat, did you ever see this is a deeper cut kind of, because it was I don't, but oh no, am I forgetting the name of the show as I'm talking? I just did. Oh my gosh. My brain. The caffeine's running away. It's gone. Bye, brain. We'll just say Carmen Sandiego. My brain won't let me remember the other one. It was like Bionic something, I forget. She's like this it was a comic that was like from I think like I'm trying to think even where it was from, because it was like it was this comic that had like Cyber 6. That's what it was called. Yeah. Had a good opening. It had really weird sound effects, because it's like they were just like, what if we took the sound effects from Looney Tunes and put them in a really serious story about like someone who escaped from a lab and was like their life had been turned upside, like their brother had been like biologically engineered into a tiger or some kind of jaguar, because Black Panthers aren't a thing. But yeah, no, it's I definitely recommend looking up the opening song on YouTube. It's really good. I play it on here, but YouTube will ironically give me a strike, even though it's not a show on TV. The only way you'll find episodes, I'm pretty sure, is through YouTube. And yet they'll still give me a strike. Why? It's your system. You're the pirates. Maybe I'll change the feathers actually to be more like secretary bird feathers. So they'll be more like just a few... more like that. Yeah, that makes more sense. I like that better. Now I'm going to draw on top of this and try and make it cleaner. Oh, since we're hitting another mile mark on the time I've been drawing, I'll give another teaser to my VTuber. I'll turn off the green so that see a little clearer. Still, I mean, there's still things I need to fix on this, obviously, but there's his face so far. See, I need to fix like things like that, and there's still a little bit of splotchiness in here that I need to fix, but I can do with a brush. I can just use a soft airbrush and clean all that stuff off. Same with like down here. Like this is. I have a layer off though. I think that's why this looks so weird here. Because there's. But yeah. Let's get back to work on her. For kind of like a Batman kind of expression, like no nonsense kind of. Thanks. She still needs something else. Probably the like the eyelashes, kind of give her some really big eyelashes on top of it. Well, it's gonna be hard to. I got an idea. That's not right. I can just make that actually her domino mask. Actually, it's like make the domino mask itself like orange. Their beaks aren't quite as curled either. They don't need them to be as curled as like. It's gonna be more like that. kind of exaggerate it even more so that it's more like the what I'm trying to base it off of, kind of like that hat from Final Fantasy IX, where it's like very squeezed in the middle. Yeah, changing her to more of a speedster. I got rid of everything else from the description, which I know is cheating, but I don't care. It's my challenge. I can do what I want. Maybe much like the lizard guy, she has these socks are like they have like a reinforcement like on the front, like a metal guard on the fronts of these. Yeah, she's so cool. So cool. This has to be my. These three are going to be a team. Although there's too many fighters, actually. I need a warlock or something, or a cleric in this team. But that would be so cool if it was like actually, you know what would be cool is if I'll make well, actually, I already know one of the people who could be on the team. Let's see if I can find her. She would team up with this person, I'm sure of it. This Kenku with her. These two together would be a nasty duo. Birds just have the most fierce looking feet. Claws are no joke. And I just kind of like repeated that with her arms too, like made them the same kind of like like joint where it's just like she just moves so fast. Like she's got that whole like, and that's perfect for a fighter too, because fighters aren't known. I mean, they can be pretty strong, but they're more about dexterity and speed than anything else. So, giving her like. Yeah, giving her more of a speed-based fighter build is totally a thing I've seen. So, besides, I already have my tank fighter build. So, with this dude, so. She canceled. Move you over here. Beep, 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 beep. Sorry, you're in my way. Yeah, these two guys. Yeah. We have our monk and our fighter. And then the other fighter. And then she's got like... Yeah, she's going for the Scarlet Pumpernickel. You know, oh, and if you're looking for a good anime based around Musketeers, I don't know if you've ever seen Le Chevalier d'Eon, which is essentially the Knight d'Eon de Beaumont. Blah. Please forgive my terrible French. d'Eon de Beaumont. It's a actual historical. Well, yeah. There's like a legend and I believe it's historical. Secret or agent of the state or of the country that was secretly would cross-dress so that they could get secrets from people. And for a long time there was a debate on whether it was Daeon was a man or a woman, and it's really the anime is really cool and really well written. And like I definitely recommend it to anyone because it's got some really great characters in it, and even though it has kind of a crazy magic system added to it, which takes away from like any of the like slight believability of it being historical, it still kind of ties into the fact that it's like a lot of this stuff happened, it just didn't have magic involved in it. It's like these historical figures existed, they just weren't immortals. So it's really good. I highly recommend it. It's a really good like tragic love story too. It's kind of or at least parts of it have that kind of aspect to them. It's made by the studio that made Ghost in the Shell, so it's really well animated too. Oops. Bum, bum. I love this fill tool, it's really useful. Just saves so much time not having to worry about being precious with like line work especially when you're just concepting like now. Like it'd be silly to worry about that right now. she is not to be messed with. Don't they have spec? Let me check. Yeah, they do. Well, they do have. They have them up here. They have them at like the tips of their. Pretty cool, huh? I'm pretty happy. I'm really happy with how she's coming along. So I came up with a new character completely tonight, and I got my two other dudes. Maybe I'll try and color this one really quick. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't rush this one. I can at least do the rough color, I guess. Oops, wrong layer. Wrong lever crunk. Great, now I want to watch that. Oops. Oh, right. Wait, no, that still has that. Oops, that's a little darker than I meant for it to be. There. Yeah, and for him, I was gonna do like a bald eagle kind of uh, like theme. So he's gonna have like. Actually, now that I got this, it'd be kind of cool to make them like instead of feathers, the patterns are kind of shaped like feathers, kind of like that. Oops. Sorry, just focusing. My brain. I just realized I'm like I've been really quiet for a second. I'm like, it's usually why. It's like it's really intensely focused on like a specific thing. But oops. Wait. Why? What? When? Why? How? What? Oh, right. That's why. Because I started right and then I went wrong with the. It's okay. For the crown, I'll allow it. Normally I wouldn't want to do that, but it's okay for that. I got some coloring done for this. I know it looks really rough, but that's the point. Just wanted to like splotch in some ideas for where color placement might be, so that I can play around with it later. Same with her. She's pretty awesome. I'm gonna try and make her even better with like maybe putting her in a dark kind of Dark Souls kind of setting maybe, and adding more like texture to her clothes with some brushes. Like kind of like just kind of playing around with shadows. Yeah, I don't want to rush it though, because I like this idea. This concept came out really good. So I'm gonna play around with her character design and maybe even like add some. Yeah. Just play around with her design a little bit more. Maybe add some red in there to brighten like a closer to her. Just want to play around with a few more things and then probably call it. But just want to, yeah, give her a little bit. She's been fighting on the ground a lot, so make her wings a little dirty, or just like, not dirty, just like give them this cool like imperfection of like darkness on the tips of the feathers. Like soot collecting on her. And then maybe kind of like just randomly on her suit a little bit. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, she's pretty cool. I'm really happy with how she's coming along. Let's give her a little bit more texture to her metal here. With this brush a little bit here too. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it's coming along. Might actually give her pants more of a red. Yeah. Thank you. I'm just always trying to think of fun new things to do with these characters, like trying to think of like cool ways to make these what I would want to play as a D&D character. So I'm always just trying to think like how can you bend the rules a little bit but without breaking the game, and answer is always just like look at the races that aren't really popular or are less used because they're like, well, like that one set, like the dinosaur one says, they're pretty. Normally they're pretty rare, but it would still be fun to play a character like that. Like find a way in the story where like that character shows up on a boat or something, or like washed up on the mainland, and that's part of the mystery is like why are they there? Like how did they get there? Could be like a story of like a kingdom that was usurped or something, and especially with the Saurian, the theropods being essentially like the ruling class, you could have it so like that character like was actually in one of the rare cases of a benevolent king, but like another like maybe like some other like either Feywild or some maybe the Unseelie court like took their island or something would be kind of a cool story, or like the Whispering One, like his cult came and just took over the island. All those would be pretty cool stories, actually. Although with, I don't know, I don't think I was gonna say maybe people might be kind of tired of the Whispering One with like all the like media, modern media covering that character, but I don't know. I don't think you can ever get tired of that character. There's always different ways to tell that character too, so. I imagine she would have like the disposition of like Eileen the Crow from Bloodborne, where she just is like essentially like a walking executioner. Like she's just beyond the point of like just like anytime she's sent out, she knows that she's out for blood. It's like they need me, then this is not a case of like mistaken identity. This person needs to be put down. Yeah, I like this character a lot. She's got like mana just shooting off with this sword. And then like on this one, it's just like this really dark energy that's just snaking off of it, like corrupted energy. Or, nah, you know, it's fine. I was gonna make it poison, but corrupted energy is just as bad as poison, so. I also like that I didn't do anything with her eyes, so she's just like very like hard, straight stare eyes. Like she knows exactly what she's doing, and she's not remorseful at all about what she's doing. Like this is all part of the job. Oops, I got it backwards. Actually, this is the part that's up near the beak. It's actually usually a little colored like that. Yeah, cool. Maybe just for fun she's colored her nails. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I should do that? Nah, maybe not. Maybe something though? Kind of cool if she had like, you know what, she doesn't need it. Black is fine. Maybe just to show the speed, kind of like, once again, just like do the blur to show that she's really moving this foot fast. Like it's just like, like she's just about to like, very, what seems like an open stance is going to be a very quick like finisher move with a kick. Like she's just gonna be like, wham, done. So, let's see. Just gonna clean this a little more. bit more, so it's a little more foreboding. I drew a lot more of her than I thought I was going to do today. I think that just proves how much I like this concept, is that this was just going to be my third drawing of being like, you know what, I need to make another character just because I want you to get to see me draw more than just those two guys. But then when I got to drawing her, I'm like, oh my gosh, this character's so much fun to draw. She's just so cool. Everything about her is cool. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with this. She just looks pretty scary. We're not running this character in D&D, because like this is the kind of like bounty hunter character where you're like, well, rolling a new character, guys. She just hit me like 20 times in one turn. I guess I'm done. Yeah, it's just scary all over. Proof that you can make scary characters with white, like in their design. Like it's not always just. It's all about the personality. Like if you can convey like a certain mood in the character, it's like it doesn't matter. She just does not suffer fools. Oh, I got the wrong person. I'm sorry. Headshot. Done. Nope. I don't make mistakes. Sorry. Just gonna add in one more thing for her. With a add glow layer just to give her, maybe not, maybe a little bit, very lightly, just to like, lightly hint at how bright these colors are. That's so bright, it's glowing on her metal. So, yeah. And out the feathers a little bit. Yeah, it's just this really unnatural looking kind of energy that's just weaving off of that. Almost fire, but something even more like unnerving, like almost like tendrils coming off of the blade. Gonna make it so she's got almost like some energy to her upcoming kick. Nah, not that. That's too bright. In fact, I'm probably gonna get rid of this because I don't need that. Maybe there. Just not as much there. Sorry, now I'm just like fine tuning it. Oh, this is the eye glow. This is good. Actually, I'm just gonna do one more thing. Just gonna like add a little bit more light into the feet and the hands and the tip of the beak. There. Cause she's not ugly. She's just tattered from like being out in the streets covered in filth, and but she's still underneath it all. She's got like this like clean, or like this the look of the secretary bird kind of underneath it all, where it's like she's got this eyelash, these strong eyelashes, and this very scary femme fatale kind of character. Emphasis on the fatale. As in, like, meeting her will lead to your fatale. Okay. Well, this is a good place to call it. It came out really good. She looks better than both of them at this time. Like, she came out better than them. I did not expect that. Like, like, I mean, I like their concepts a lot. I mean, that one needs to be fixed, but like that one came out really good, and the anime version of him is fun. I like that a lot, where he's just like pure energy being released. Like, this guy and her would be a fun combo. Like a monk and a fighter together would be crazy. These two are just like, would be so scary next to each other. You get the fighter who has multiple attacks per round, and a monk who just doesn't stop punching. Never stops punching. So, yeah, thanks for sticking around. I'll be working on the model for my my VTuber for the rest of the weekend probably. But I mean, I'm probably gonna do a little bit. I might do another one of these sessions again on tomorrow on my on my Twitch, because it was so much fun. Like cleaning up her, and maybe making a caster class like a paladin, or actually probably a cleric. I'm gonna make a special kind of. I'm gonna make a cleric character from a unique class, like probably like those fish people would be kind of cool, or I don't know, just something more unique, or just trying to make something, maybe even like doing something I haven't drawn before, like a fire genasi or something, or yeah, because that's a water genasi is what I'm thinking of with the fish, because like they're, but yeah, because there are actual fish people I know in D&D, but not talking about them. Yeah, no, this was a blast. So yeah, I'll be on my Twitch tomorrow, working more on these guys, and maybe making, like I said, a cleric, or like a something like that, and not a bard. I don't need to do that. I already have a bard. In my main comic, I don't need to make one in D&D. Well, there's one thing I want to do really quick, because it's going to drive me crazy if she doesn't have at least some white in her design up here. Because I just realized this is all off-white. And if you don't have any white, then you can't tell that she's dirty. So, the tops of her wings are going to be like that. Yeah. Okay. And up here, maybe like this. Okay. Cool beans. All right. Well, I'll see you on. If I don't see you tomorrow, I'll be back again on next Wednesday on my YouTube. So yeah, thanks for dropping by, everyone, and have a great rest of your weekend. And yeah, have a good night. Take care. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, definitely. If you have any ideas, sure. I'm always up for some fun challenges. So yeah. But yeah, no, have a good night. Take care.